Hi, Attorney Steve Vondran, the copyright lawyer. We are back and we are talking in this video about Creative Commons. Okay, so let's just not waste any time. Let's head to the Attorney Steve copyright whiteboard. All right, let's back this baby up here. All right, hopefully you can see me now. There's a lot of stuff on the board. This is designed to help you sort of look and locate some things, and you can see where I'm going, all that kind of thing. As we go through, we'll check off the items. So anyway, basically, when you have a copyright, you have, as a copyright holder, let's take for example a photo. You have a photo, you become the copyright owner, you can license that to a magazine, you can publicly distribute it, so you have these bundle of rights as a copyright holder. And so usually when somebody has a rights, or like a video, if you make a video, everybody knows the video company's got the copyrights on it, that you can't go and just make a play out of it, or you can't take a book which is copyrighted and go turn it into a play without contacting and getting a license from the copyright holder. So copyright, I think everybody understands that is like pretty powerful. It's got these rights, but what Creative Commons is, it's a little bit different. Creative Commons says, look, I've got the same thing. I have copyrightable content, I have photos and videos, but you know what? I want to share, I want to get it out there. Maybe let's say you're a musician and you go, well, sure, you can have your copyrights, but it would be nice if other people maybe used your music as far as like sampling or mixing, or took little pieces of your work that they really liked, put it into their work and give you attribution for that. So it allows you to have a way to actually exploit your work, to go more globally with it. But you would do that through the use of one of these Creative Commons licenses. So let's talk about this. That's the basics of it. So as I mentioned, this could be anything. This could be any type of creative content that one could make: books, research articles, blogs. I put a copyright notice, a Creative Commons notice on my website that allows people to use my stuff. In other words, I don't care, post it on your website, but give me attribution. Okay, give me attribution. So we'll talk about that. So it could be books, it could be poems and lyrics, it could be photos. Everybody's an amateur photographer now, so everybody's putting all their pictures up on Flickr and everywhere else. Well, Flickr allows you to set a way to basically allow them to search their search engine looking for these different license types. These are your license types, okay? So, but it could be videos, it could be photos, it could be music, it could be videos. Any type of creative content that somebody can make can be the subject of obtaining one of these licenses. Okay, we're going to talk about this right here. This is all your licenses, with the exception of I got two more over here. Okay, so what it means is, so say you have a picture and you say, look, I don't mind if somebody uses my photo, it's okay. But if I don't make people aware of that, they'll never know. So the only way to make people aware of that is you go onto Creative Commons and you create one of these licenses. Okay, all the licenses are defined on their website. You can go read each one in detail. This is going to be a nutshell video. Okay, so you say, well, I want people to use it. I want to put it on Flickr, but if somebody wants to make a collage or wants to put it in their videos, I don't care, makes no difference to me, just give me the attribution. Okay, so attribution is going to be a common theme in these licenses. Just give me the credit, I did it, just give me the credit, right? So you will see people doing this with music. SoundHound is one of the popular sites where musicians are making songs, and they're saying, look, I'll share this with a Creative Commons license. Okay, so the way I looked at it, I drew it here. Okay, this is a little chart right here, okay, if you're really trying to understand this. So a copyright is your full bundle of rights. You have the full bundle, all rights are reserved. Okay, we know that. So you have these bundle of rights, all rights are reserved. Now Creative Commons says it's sort of middle ground, or it says some rights are reserved. So it's not all rights, and you're setting the rights that you want to grant and the restrictions that you want to put on it. So you have that. So it's different from copyright in that perspective. And then the third one down would be public domain. Public domain is no rights. Okay, once a copyright expires, the duration of the copyright expires, it goes into the public domain. So this is really what you have, is sort of the copyright system, the Creative Commons, which is sort of a middle ground where you can set and display your rights. Remember here with the copyright notice, it's usually just the C. It's just the C. Well, here we have all sorts of different notices, and we'll get back to this in a second. But then you have the public domain, which means there's no rights. Okay, so that's a good way to look at it. We'll scratch that out. So let's get into it. So that's basically what it is. The rationale behind it is to allow sharing, to expand your content, so the world is not so scared to use a picture or video. It's the sharing community, okay? It's a culture of sharing. So that would be Creative Commons. Now, let's talk about these 4 licenses here, and then I'll talk about these, actually 5, I should say. That one should be in part of my circle. So the one is the attribution. So you can set a work, this would be a work, any of your digital content, your photos, videos, music, you can set it to the attribution license. That means people can remix, they can share, they can modify, they can customize, they can perform, they can do whatever they want, okay, as long as they're giving you attribution. So that's a good way to expand your work. If somebody likes what you're doing, expands the work, other people are using it, performing it, mixing it, okay? So attribution is a really popular one that you'll see. This is the CC is just the Creative Commons. That just identifies to people that you're sort of in this culture of sharing, that you're sort of a member of the team, that this is a Creative Commons work, okay? It's a Creative Commons work. So if you're on the web and you're looking around for these things and you see a photo or a picture, image, something, document, with these symbols, it should trigger you that this is under the Creative Commons scheme. Now, as I tell everybody, I just did a video on how to download public domain works on Vimeo, but what I suggest is if you're going to use the work, is make sure you're always printing these licenses out and keeping them in a safe place, because you don't want someone to say, well, that was licensed under attribution and now it's not anymore. It is. Have the proof. Click it out, print out the evidence before you use the video, okay, or the song or whatever. So you have attributions, you have Creative Commons. This is one where you see the equal sign. That's the equal sign, no derivatives, meaning you can share and modify the work, but we don't want you to make, I should say, you cannot make derivatives out of the work. You can share it, you give attribution, but no derivatives. So that's sort of a restriction. And over here I have, this is least restrictive, these are the most restrictive, and as the copyright holders, you set it, okay, so you set it. So if you don't want derivatives, as I don't with my copyright blogs and things like that, I set no derivatives. I don't want people taking my blogs, posting them in a book, and then changing it and doing all that, so I really don't want that. But I don't mind a share, that's the attribution, share it, give me attribution all day long, right? So, no derivatives is the equal sign, no commercial is the dollar sign. I think that actually has a slash through it. So what that means is you can use, you can mix, you can modify, you can do whatever you want to do, just don't do it for money, okay? So what you'll see a lot of times on like SoundHound or some of these other sites, Vimeo, is you'll see, here, this is all free. You have attribution, Creative Commons, no derivatives, and then it'll say no non-commercial. Click here if you want to get a license. So this is a way they're promoting it. Oh, if you really, really want this, click this button and then you can get the commercial rights, okay? So in that sense, it is like copyright where you're sort of, putting it out there for someone to come do a deal with you. The other one is the sort of the backwards C, and it has some sort of funny symbol there, but it's called share alike. That is where you can mix it, modify it, do what you want to do with it, but it has to be distributed under the same terms as the original. So you give it, you create your new product, you put it out there, it still has to be shared and used in accordance with the share alike that you got it with, okay? So these are your general 5 that you see, and then what you'll typically see when you go to these websites is you may see, this one and this one, or this one, and this one. So you just look and see what the licensing rights are. Okay, so we will be doing some videos breaking these down as to exactly what they are, but that's the 360 overview, these different licenses that you can set as the copyrights holder. Now there's 2 others over here that I want to talk about, way over here. One is the CCO. CCO, that's the public domain. That's the public domain. And this is where, let's say you have something and you go, I have like awesome music, I'm just going to put the music out there. I'm going to dedicate it. I'm going to waive my rights. There are no copyrights. It's yours. Take it. Have fun. Do what you want. Okay, that's a nice one. That's a nice one for you people looking for videos, you know, video content, music content. And I'll give you a couple sites to look at. But that's your CCO. So that's no rights reserved. And of course, it has to be the true owner that's doing the dedicating. So you do need to make sure that it's the person who dedicated is right. So you have to do a little due diligence. Sometimes this is not always as easy as it looks. The other one is public domain, and that's where you can mark something as being in the public domain just to notify the public so that it's easy to search. So there would just be a symbol up here. You can see it up here, a little C and a slash through it. This one's a little 0 with a slash through it. So those are your symbols. So when you're out on the web and you see these symbols, be thinking, you see these symbols, be thinking Creative Commons, and somebody's trying to grant you some rights. It may not be all rights, but you want to take a close look and see what are you getting. You want to save, print out what you're using, save that license in a safe place so that you have some proof that, you know, I used this because it looked like it was available to use. Give yourself that good faith. Couple other things. What do we have down here? So that's, yeah, we've already talked about all that. Website you can go to find some of these pages that allow these sort of designations to be made on their search engines. Go to search.creativecommons.org. I put it up here nice and big for you. Search.creativecommons.org. That will show you some of the communities where you can search and find things based on these licenses. So in other words, if you're looking for the public domain because that's nice, nobody has any rights in it, it's, you know, it's theoretically wide open to you. Some of the sites, go here and they will give you some of the communities that foster that. Some of these are Vimeo, Jamendo is one for music. Flickr. Of course, everybody knows Flickr. So, but that's a base. It's one other point that I can't overemphasize enough is you also need to be aware. Sometimes the people that are doing the photos, you know, maybe, you know, let's say take a photograph. Maybe they took a picture of somebody and they're violating their publicity rights. So you have to be careful when you're taking something to think about: is there somebody in there? Is that a picture of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? You know, is there going to be an issue here? I'm trying to use it in my... So you see what I'm saying? There could be privacy rights, it could be publicity rights, maybe somebody's borrowing content from somebody else. So it's, you know, copyright gets kind of complicated because it can have these different layers. But that's the general of the Creative Commons system. You know, I've tried to just make it easy here for you. If you need a copyright lawyer, and by the way, I will say, what happens if somebody's not following these licenses? This is a question. Well, what is that? Well, that could be deemed copyright infringement. Why? Because somebody's telling you how their works can be used and how they cannot be used, and you must act within accordance of this license. Okay, so failure to do so could be copyright infringement. Okay, thanks a lot. I hope this video has been helpful. If you need more information, check out my federalcopyrightlawyer.com website. That's Federal Copyright Lawyer. Don't forget to click on that V. Subscribe if you like this. If you didn't like it, just tell me that's the worst thing I've ever seen. And keep it short, though, if you're going to do that. So anyway, Attorney Steve Honor, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you again. Take care.